everyone, and welcome to Talk to Me with your host, me, Natalie. Today we have a very special guest, a new author named Emma. She's writing her new book called You Drive Me Crazy. The crazy stuff. We'll work on it. Hope you all enjoy the show. Here we go. So, Emma, what's the plot line for your story? I'd have to say the plot is about a relationship between the main character Julia and her boyfriend Chris, and the way it shatters when she re-meets her best friend Ronnie that she hasn't seen since she was between the 14 and 16 year mark, and they used to be so good friends. And then the whole thing comes up about property wise, and I think overall it comes down to the two things. One, who belongs to who, and two, who is better than the other. Some people, after hearing that, think, oh, it's just another one of those pick one romances. I'll tell you what, it isn't. So there. Yeah, that sounds... I like the ending. So there. Who are your characters? And I thought we get their name, but we don't get a feel. Who are they? Their traits, personalities, things. Oh, a feel for the characters. Julia is I think you could say she's down to earth because she's not underground, but she's definitely not up in the air or anything like that. She is on the ground and she's living, but she's in that group of people with her boyfriend Chris. They are in that group of people, they go to fancy parties, they get dressed up and they enjoy themselves. They have a glass of champagne every now and then, and that's it. A quote from the story is, when she is thinking over what will happen if she stays with Chris and lives her life. What would happen? Would we still go to fancy parties and have memories that replayed in a dreamy haze? That's the kind of parties that they go to, the really nice ones. Think like, yeah. Chris is basically the same way, but he's a guy. He's got needs, and that does come up in the story that, he's got to get something, and I think we all know what I'm talking about. I guess a story kind of needs that, unless it's like an action, but I don't know. I don't remember any story that I've ever had an idea about that wasn't like that. Ronnie he's that rock star material, that, one night stand man. It's the kind of ultimate player thing. But it's not usual rock star. It's not usual player. Like when you think the name, I'm not even going to go there. It's like, let me break this down again. Ronnie is a rock star that likes the color black, you could say. He's got tattoos. I think it comes out somewhere in there about a tongue piercing. And that one doesn't go over so well. And he's with a band. It's called Music is Life. And it is rock. They jump off the stage, they wild parties on, and yet they're really down-to-earth people. Yeah. Okay, right. Oh, inspiration on my characters. Inspiration on my characters. Honestly, I don't think my characters are really like anybody. People that know me will probably say, oh, the character Ronnie was modeled after Ronnie Radke. And it is somewhat true because I do really like Ronnie Radke, and he is a rock star and stuff, tattoos and all, but watching him on YouTube, like the way he talks, he sounds kind of like Matt Dillon, kind of like, oh yeah, man. And Ronnie in my story just kind of isn't like that. So I mean, in a way, I guess my inspiration for this character could be said as Ronnie Radke, but personality-wise, it really isn't. But I guess I have to give credit to the people that started the beginning of the character. Yeah. Julia just came out of nowhere. I just thought, oh, well, I'm out of names. I'll Google it. I'll Google cute girl names from like the 80s, 90s, something like that. Came up with a really good one. And I picked Julia. Chris, just picked one. I just thought, oh, okay, well, I like the name Chris. Let's go with that. I've been wanting to do a Chris name for a while. Hey, this will work. It's a good name for a guy like that. But yeah. Otherwise, no other inspirations. No, none at all. Were any of your characters inspired by a real person? Or maybe could it be possible, let's say, that, Chris was, let's say an apple you saw and there was a worm in it and you said, oh, you know what, that would make a great character in a book. Inspiration on my character. Honestly, I don't think my characters are really like anybody. People that know me will probably say, oh, the character Ronnie was modeled after Ronnie Radke. And it is somewhat true because I do really like Ronnie Radke, and he is a rock star and stuff, tattoos and all, but watching him on YouTube, like the way he talks, he sounds kind of like Matt Dillon, kind of like, oh yeah, man. And Ronnie in my story just kind of isn't like that. So I mean, in a way, I guess my inspiration for this character could be said as Ronnie Radke, but personality-wise, it really isn't. But I guess I have to give credit to the people that started the beginning of the character. Yeah. Julia just came out of nowhere. I just thought, oh, well, I'm out of names. I'll Google it. I'll Google cute girl names from like the 80s, 90s, something like that. Came up with a really good one. And I picked Julia. Chris, just picked one. I just thought, oh, okay, well, I like the name Chris. Let's go with that. I've been wanting to do a Chris name for a while. Hey, this will work. It's a good name for a guy like that. But yeah. Otherwise, no other inspirations. No, none at all. Emma, what made you write? What made you want to write? Was there an author you had to credit? Or most people at some time in their life decide that most people decide that they have a good idea and that they should create it into a story. Some people do it, some people don't. What made you want to write? Just the usual, oh, I have this great idea, I saw a movie, I read a book, and you know what, I think I could do it with different characters, do it a little better maybe, or do it a little differently. I wouldn't have walked into that closet like everyone in movies. What made me decide to write? What makes you decide to write? I think I always grew up with that feeling that I want I want to write. Ever since I was little, I've been writing stories and plays. I used to write Barbie plays, the princesses and the Greek gods and goddesses. I did a play with that on Barbies. Writing has came so easily to me. I think it's really interesting though, and I must have said this like a gazillion times to my family, is that my other stories that seem to have such a great purpose didn't really get so far. So I'll put them away and I'll maybe pick them up later. But what I was meaning is that it's weird because this story is really so kind of overdone. The pick one kind of thing is so, people are used to it by now, and yet it gets really far. I was really excited because I've reached 70 pages, and it's like a big milestone for me because most I've ever written is like 33, and it's just a big deal. So, yeah. And no, your plays have been nice. I liked your plays. Natalie, your talk show is actually really cool. Movie one would be fun though. I've been dying to ask you this question. Trust me, guys, you'll be thinking this as you're reading it. You're like, what man will be picked? Okay, Emma, if you could pick for Julia, what man you would decide, who would you think would be perfect for her? I mean, will you pick one? Because it's really not cool. You're going to leave us in suspense at the end of the story going, just cut off, like, we don't know what happens. I mean, it's great sequel material, but, ooh, it's naughty to do. So, yeah. Well, actually, I do get to pick one, because I'm writing. That's true, you actually do get to pick for Julia, because you are. Technically, I guess you kind of are. I just want to say thank you for coming, and I hope once you get a little farther that we can read more, and we can have you in again, or if you write more stories, we can have you back. We should do a movie segment together. It would be fun. Okay, everyone, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and just thank you. Thank you, thank you. And I hope you check out Emma's new book, You Drive Me Crazy. Only 70 pages so far, but hey, who cares? We'll let you know when it comes out. Thank you, Howard, for having me and Natalie, and thank you for everyone for listening to me talk. I mean, from the people who did actually listen. I just want to say thank you. Yeah, I think a movie thing would be awesome. We should follow that. Go to the movie one day.